Hello everyone, my name is Jake and this is my channel Fishless. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out with me today. Really appreciate you being here. Whether you're coming because you've heard of this fish and you want to learn more about it, or because you're a sucker for rare fish like me, we're going to talk about the bloodthroat cichlid or the Thoracochromis Brauschi. This fish, I feel like the most interesting thing about this fish is where it's from. It's from the Democratic Republic of Congo. There is a river or a spring or a lake, depending on who you talk to. What it really is it's a large spring that comes out of the ground and then gives rise to a river. Some people call it a lake, called Lake Flois or River Flois. And the river runs for about 9 miles until it empties into another river called the River Luby. And it's a really fascinating region of the world. There is a person on YouTube named Minesi who has some videos of this region, and I will link him down in the description, and you should definitely go check that out because it is absolutely stunning and beautiful. The river is crystal clear. The water is just blue. The sand is white. It is gorgeous. I mean, I would love to visit a place like that someday because it is just absolutely incredible. And you can see that this region has a lot to offer. And there's a few fish in the aquarium hobby that come from this region. There's another one in this tank called the cichlids that I have. They're the little bit of lighter body fish, whereas these ones are a darker body and the males get that deep red throat. They are a pretty resilient fish. They seem to be resistant to tank changes and water changes. I haven't had any problems moving them around. They seem to do just fine. That spring that the River Flois comes from is very different than the river that it flows into. It has a water hardness of about 10 to 20 degrees GH and a pH of about 7 to 8.5. It's about 76 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit or 25 to 27 degrees Celsius. But the river that it flows into, from what I understand, is a little different as far as its water chemistry. So these fish stay in that river. So this is the only place in the world that they're from, that one tiny little river in the middle of the Democratic Republic of Congo. So it is just kind of cool to have a fish in my basement that is from such a unique area and from such a beautiful area. They are a mouth-brooding cichlid. I have never actually seen them breed. I have seen them holding, but they generally hold their fish in their mouths for a few weeks before releasing them. However, they are kind of reclusive then too. The way that I have bred them is I put them all in a 40 breeder, and you almost never see them when you put them species only. They just kind of hang out on their own in the rocks, and then one day you'll see babies. I'm not sure if they eat their babies. I know they don't eat all their babies because I had some of them popping up, and they seem to do just fine for me. I fed them pretty much everything that you would feed a fish: frozen foods, pellets, flakes, baby brine shrimp. They seem to breed just fine no matter what you're feeding them. They'll just kind of breed on their own. The only problem with keeping them in a species-only tank, I found, was that they would just kind of stay in the rocks and you wouldn't really see them. I'd have to kind of sit in front of the tank and stay very still for a long time before I would see them come out and be able to get a good look at them, which was kind of frustrating. I ended up having good luck keeping them with the other fish, the Schwetzi that come from the same region, as well as Victorian cichlids. In fact, they remind me a lot of Victorian cichlids in a lot of ways. Their behaviors, their territorial nature and aggression is very similar. The way that they breed, a lot of things very similar. So actually Victorians, I think, make great tank mates for them. I probably wouldn't keep them with imbunas or peacocks, mostly just because of size differences or dietary differences. These guys, I think, need a little bit more protein in them, but any Victorians are very good tank mates. I would say they also are very similar to Victorians in the way that they have one really pretty dominant male, and then everybody else just kind of hangs out as a little bit drab, males and females. But really fascinating behaviors. They kind of hide in the rocks a little bit. They do eat plants. I noticed that. I had some hornwort and some other plants in their tank, and they do tend to tear it up a bit. So, and they dig, so probably not great for a planted tank. So maybe just an open space tank. I apologize for this tank that they're in right now. I actually am going to be rehoming these guys soon. I've enjoyed keeping them, but I'm making this video because I'm kind of coming to the end of my time with them, and I want to share my experience with others who may want to keep them in the future and may find this video. But this tank is my last tank that I have a white background and pool filter sand, which I really don't enjoy. They don't make for a good looking tank. So I'm going to redo this whole tank, and I'm going to make some changes in the process. Also, it seems like every single one of them has poop coming out of the butt. Like, it's just so frustrating. But anyway, in the future, hopefully this will be a prettier tank. They do like a lot of hiding spaces, some rocks, some territories. I would give them somewhere to hide. Mine kind of claim, especially this big male, kind of claim the filter and chase everybody else off. They will eat other fish. I have noticed that if there's a fish small enough to eat, they will definitely eat it. And even if it's not big enough for them to swallow, or small enough for them to swallow, they will sometimes be a little aggressive, and I've had them kill other fish, mostly the Schwetzi. They don't seem to kill their own species. I've never seen them do that. Maybe if they're a little overcrowded, could be. But I would keep them in probably a 4-foot tank. This is a 60 breeder. If you want to breed them, you could probably do a 40 breeder, but I probably wouldn't go much lower than that. But just a really fascinating, interesting fish. I've really enjoyed keeping them, and it's really fun to have such a rare and interesting fish. So if you get a chance to pick these guys up and keep a colony of your own, I just wanted to share some of this as the things that I have learned, that hopefully I can get some more information out there, because at least on YouTube anyway, other than a few simple videos of them, there really isn't anything. So if you like learning about very rare cichlids and you like keeping very rare cichlids, then pick these guys up and have some fun with them. So I hope you enjoyed that, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Wishlist out.